Exercise band murder weapons held high in court and never-before-seen crime scene photos of Lindsay Clancy's blood-stained house. I'm Fiona McLaughlin with the U.S. Sun, and here's everything you missed from what's being dubbed America's saddest trial. A shattered Patrick Clancy returned to the stand, reliving the horror of January 24, 2023, the night he found his 3 young children, Cora, Dawson, and baby Callan, had been strangled to death by his wife. In the courtroom's most harrowing moment, prosecutors displayed the actual bands used in the killings alongside the pajamas the children were wearing when they died. Lindsay broke down so intensely as the clothes were shown in court, officials were forced to abruptly take a break.
First, the pajama pants. Pajama shirt. And then the pink robe. We could have these marked as one exhibit.
They may be admitted. Thank you.
And then Dawson's clothing. We have dinosaur underwear for the record. And a gray t-shirt or shirt, long sleeve shirt. Could have this as the next exhibit, please.
That may be admitted.
And then Callan's pajamas. As the next exhibit, please.
That may be admitted.
Yellow exercise band found with Dawson. Can I have this as the next exhibit, please?
That may be admitted.
Black exercise band found with Cora. Could I have this as the next exhibit, please?
That may.
And then the blue exercise band found with Callan. We could have this as the next exhibit, please.
That may be admitted.
Your Honor, we would ask that the 911 call be played.
All right. All right. Members of the jury, I just kind of wanted to give you, all right. Sometimes in a trial, evidence that is introduced that produces in jurors an emotional response. For example, it's understandable to feel sympathy and empathy when you hear or see certain evidence. But as jurors who have taken an oath to follow the law, I'm instructing you that the law says you must separate any emotional reaction on your part from the informational value and weight of the evidence. You must not be influenced in any way by the unpleasant nature of some of the evidence, including testimony, including exhibits. And so you must find the facts in this case based only on the evidence. And so you can't find facts or base your decision on sympathy, anger, passion or prejudice or pity for or against either side. Rather, your verdict must be based solely on the evidence that is introduced in this case and my instructions and any other limiting instructions. And I'll go into that, but I just kind of wanted to remind you of that as we go through this. All right, at this point, we're going to play the exhibit, which is, I believe, the 911 call. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I want to remind everyone that there is a order entered by the court regarding this matter. It's not to be recorded. It's not to be broadcast, and it's not to be reproduced in any way, subject to any sanctions that would go along with the violation of that court order. So I just kind of remind everybody that order applies to the media and applies to the public. So I just kind of wanted to remind everybody in regards to that. So with that, Commonwealth?
Patrick Clancy relived his horror, returning home to eerie silence and breaking down a locked door to find blood. He then discovered blood smeared across the floor and his wife injured in the yard.
Was there anything you noticed?
Yeah, the house is really quiet.
Is that unusual?
Yeah.
And when you realized it was really quiet, what did you do?
I called out.
And who did you call out to?
Everyone.
Did anyone answer?
No.
After you called out and no one answered, what did you do next?
I think I don't know the order, but I called down in the basement and no one answered. And then I called Lindsay to see if she was home because I looked out and I couldn't see her car, but it's because it was dark and her car's black.
Okay, so when you say you called down to the basement, when you approached the basement door, do you remember if it was open or shut?
It was shut.
So did you open it and yell down?
Yeah,
And there was no response?
correct.
And showing you a photo here, is that a fair and accurate depiction of the stairway down to the basement level?
Yeah.
We could have this marked as the next exhibit, please.
That may be admitted.
Do you recall when you opened the door to yell down whether the light was on or off?
Yeah, it was on, but Lindsay always left the light on.
And you said you called Lindsay. Was that a phone call?
Yeah.
And was that at approximately 6:09 p.m.?
Yeah.
And did she answer?
No.
After calling down the stairs to the basement, did you leave the door open or did you close it?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I would think I closed it because I always try to keep it closed. I'm not sure.
Okay. And so after you called Lindsay and didn't get a response, what did you do next?
I started checking upstairs.
And where did you check upstairs?
First, the bathroom. I thought maybe they were taking baths, but there's no one there.
And then where did you go?
The kids' bedrooms.
Was there anyone in the kids' bedrooms?
No.
And then did you go to your bedroom?
Yeah.
And were you able to get into your bedroom right away?
No, the door was locked, and that's when I knew something was wrong.
And when you realized the door was locked, did you have a way to unlock it?
Yeah, the previous owners, when they installed the doorknobs, had these like these little keys that they taped to the back of each door. So I got the one from Courtroom, and then I started unlocking the knob.
Okay. And when you unlocked the door to your bedroom, did you go in?
Yeah.
And what did you see when you opened the door and went in?
I just saw blood everywhere, and the window is open.
And showing you here a photo, is this the bed in your bedroom?
Yeah.
Now, the way the bed is in this photo, kind of pulled away from the wall and slightly askew or at an angle, is that the way it was typically?
No.
And when you left the bedroom that day for the last time prior to coming home later that night, was the bed in that position?
I don't think so.
You could have this photo marked as the next
It
exhibit.
may be admitted.
Exhibit 42. And you said you saw the window, is that correct?
Yeah.
Was it open?
Yeah, there was wind blowing in.
Showing you a photo here. Is that a fair and accurate depiction of how the window looked?
Yeah.
Mark this the next exhibit, please.
That may be admitted.
Exhibit 43. Did you walk into the room and over to the window?
No.
How far into the room did you get?
Probably 1 or 2 steps, and then I immediately turned around and went outside.
And the blood that you saw, where was that located in the room?
It was everywhere. It was, it looked like it was sprayed almost with like a hose. And there was a huge puddle in the middle of the room, and it was sprayed all over pretty much every surface. I remember it was on the doorknob.
Okay. Showing you 3 photos. Do you recognize what's depicted there? And is that a fair and accurate depiction of how the room looked on January 24th, 2023?
Yeah.
We could have these 3 photos marked as the next 3 exhibits.
It may be admitted.
So showing you what's been marked exhibit 44. Is this the entrance to the room, looking into the room?
Yeah.
And then exhibit 45, is this mirror to the right of that bureau we were just looking at?
Yep.
And this area right here, is this the blood you were referring to?
Yeah, that's some of the blood.
And then in exhibit 46, is that getting closer to the window?
Yeah.
And is that more of the blood that you were talking about?
Yeah.
Going back to exhibit 42, there's no blood on the walls or on the bedding, correct?
On those walls and the bedding, correct.
Sir, were you aware that the defendant's phone was found on the bed in the bedroom that night?
Yeah.
showing you this phone with this light brown case. Do you recognize this?
Yes,
Whose phone is it?
that was Lindsay's phone.
And is this the phone that she was consistently using between September of 2022 and, well, actually August of 2022 throughout the fall and into January of 2023?
Yeah.
You could have this marked as the next exhibit, please.
That may be admitted.
47. Sir, after making those observations in the bedroom, what did you do next?
I ran downstairs and went outside.
And do you recall whether you came around, whether you went out the front door or the back door?
I went out the back door.
So that would be the sliders, is that right?
Yeah.
And where did you go from there?
I just looked around in the backyard below that window, and I saw Lindsay.
And where did you see her?
She was face up in the backyard,
And where in the backyard was she?
at the bottom of the window.
Public broadcast of Patrick's frantic, heart-wrenching 911 call was banned by the judge before trial. Yet Patrick still described in devastating detail the moment he found his kids. He was still on the line with dispatchers when he ran to the basement and made the terrifying discovery, screaming in pure agony, she killed the kids.
So when you come down those stairs that night, which direction did you go?
I immediately went left.
And when you went left, what did you see?
I saw Cora.
And how did she look?
She had a band around her neck.
And was that an exercise band?
Yeah.
And do you recall whether she was, what position she was in, whether face up or face down?
She's face down.
And when you saw her in that condition, what did you do?
I immediately ran over and tried to take the band off.
Were you able to get the band off?
Yeah.
And do you recall how you got the band off?
I think I untied it.
And when you say untied it, was it in a knot that you had to, put everything down and unknot it, or how was it tied?
I'm not sure I fully remember.
Do you recall describing it previously as when you initially tie your shoes but then don't do the bow?
Yeah, that sounds right.
And was she responsive?
No.
And what did you see or do next?
I saw Callan.
And where was he?
He was next to her.
And how did he appear?
He had a band around his neck.
Sorry?
He had a band around his neck.
And did you remove that as well?
Yeah.
And do you recall what position he was in?
Same as Cora.
And looking at the model here, if you could just tell us, where was Cora?
The left of the couch.
So would that be this area here that I'm pointing to in between the bureau and the couch?
Yeah.
And where was Callan?
To her left.
So would that be more over here towards the chair and the bureau?
Yeah.
After you removed the band from Callan's neck, what did you do next?
I tried to find Dawson.
And where did you go?
I looked in the bathroom and on the other side of the couch, and then I went to the other side of the basement, and he was in my office.
And when you saw Dawson, what condition was he in?
I knew he was gone.
And did he also have a band around his neck?
Yeah.
And did you remove that band?
Yeah.
And looking at the office here, where was he located within the office?
Just to the left of the door when you went in.
Just in this area here, right inside the door?
Yeah.
So we may approach briefly.
Yeah, please.
Now, after finding Dawson and taking off the band, what happened next?
I think I was back and forth. I think I went to try to help Cora.
Did you try to give her CPR?
Yeah.
At some point in time, do the first responders make their way down to the basement?
Yeah.
And do they take over care of the children?
Yeah.
Where do you go?
They sent me upstairs.
Notebooks, place them on the chairs. Follow me, please.
My drugs go.
Jurors have exited the courtroom. The court's in session. Please be seated.
We'll be in recess at this time.
Thank you.
Court, all rise.
Court is in recess. Please exit the courtroom. Clear out the courtroom, please. Thank you.
Prosecutors also revealed the chilling voice Lindsay allegedly heard in her head before the murders. A man's voice allegedly told her if she didn't do it now, she would lose her chance. The prosecution argues the claim about hearing a voice shows intent. Meanwhile, the defense insists it proves she was in the grips of severe postpartum psychosis.
Did anyone ever tell you not to leave your kids alone with Lindsay?
No.
In January of 2023, did Lindsay ever tell you that she wanted to harm your children?
No.
Did she ever tell you she was going to kill your children?
No.
Did you receive, a few days after this happened, did you receive a phone call from the defendant while she was at Brigham and Women's Hospital?
I think it was like a week or so after, yeah.
And what did the defendant say at that time about what had happened with the children?
She didn't talk about our kids. She talked about what she went through.
And what did she say about what she went through?
She said she heard a man's voice telling her that if she didn't do it now, she would lose her chance or something like that.
And did she also tell you that she had had a moment of psychosis?
I don't recall.
Did she mention the children at all during that call?
I don't think so. I mean, not directly.
Had she ever mentioned psychosis to you before?
No, I didn't know what psychosis was until after this happened.
Did she ever tell you she was hearing a man's voice before?
No.
If I may have a moment, Your Honor.
Sure.
I have no further questions for this witness.
All
I
right.
just have exhibits
All right.
after.
Counsel, can I see just briefly, sidebar?
On Wednesday afternoon, never before seen photos from inside the family home were presented to the jury, showing the contrast between the cozy children's bedrooms and the grim scene of bloodstained floors in Lindsay's bedroom.
Was photograph that, excuse me, you can identify for us. Is this photograph a fair and accurate depiction of one of your rooms?
Yeah,
And what room would that be?
that's the playroom.
Right off of this room?
Any objection?
No.
All right, that may be admitted.
Exhibit 58.
Thank you.
If I may put exhibit 58 up so the jurors and his honor can see it. There's some kind of like, it looks as though it's boxed out window. So are we standing in the kitchen looking into that room through that boxed out window?
Yeah.
And all those objects, obviously, that are in that room would be kids' toys and things of that nature, right?
Right.
Do you recognize this photograph as being just a sample or sampling of the kids' rooms?
Yeah.
You know which room that was?
I think it was Dawson's.
Okay, right off of this.
Any objection?
No.
All right, that may be admitted.
Exhibit 59.
All right, thank you.
This one here has a bunch of stickers. It's got Bruce Lightyear or whatever his name is over to the right, and it's got an alphabet, A, B, C, D, things of that nature, correct?
It's Paw Patrol.
Okay. And again, following through on that same theme, you recognize this photograph as well being another portion of that wall?
Yeah.
And what are those, decals?
Yeah, they're just big stickers.
Okay. In the interest of time, Your Honor, I would just say, you also identify this as being one of the kids' walls. Would that be what you were telling us would be art projects?
Yeah,
And they were hanging on the wall?
correct.
And who hung them on the wall?
I think Lindsay did.
And would she also take hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pictures of the kids?
Yeah.
Do you recall her putting together a little collage saying newborn, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and then hanging that on the wall?
Yeah, she did it for each kid.
And which child was that?
That one's Dawson.
Dawson. Did you have occasion to see her interact with Dawson as a...
Ray, did you wish to introduce those photographs?
Thank you, I appreciate it. These two, I believe.
Exhibit 60 and 61.
Okay, thank you.
Can you describe for the jurors her relationship with Dawson? I know he was a little kid, but I mean, did she, to your observation, did she love Dawson?
She loved Dawson very much.
Did she resent him?
No.
You are familiar with, as her husband, Lindsay's, let's say, use of social media, such as Facebook, right?
Yes.
Can you tell us, would you look at her Facebook a lot and the pictures that she would post?
To be honest, no, not really.
Okay. Were you able to identify any of her postings on Facebook?
Probably.
Okay. Representative, over the years, or the period of time, I'm going to ask if you can identify this particular Facebook.
Your Honor, if we may approach briefly.
Sure, yeah. Counsel?
Court will return on Thursday for day 3 of the trial. You can follow all the updates on the U.S. Sun.